At this time, we are going through the details related to performance tuning of SQL queries. As part of the previous lecture, we have gone through details with respect to this query, which actually gives us details about the order details for a given customer. I have changed the query to count just to get the count. You can also review the explain plan. As of now, the explain plan looks like this. You can see that it is performing full table scan on orders. Also, it is performing full table scan on order items. On filtered orders and unfiltered order items, it is performing hash inner join. I am seeing two major performance bottlenecks. They are nothing but full table scan on orders and full table scan on order items. Even though there are issues related to performance, the query is not taking too much of time. Let me run this query. You see, it have returned the result very quickly. But you will experience the slowness in the performance when we try to run this query multiple times. Here we have the stored procedure which will actually run similar query 1000 times. Once the stored procedure is created, we need to make sure the stored procedure is invoked so that the stored procedure actually take care of running similar query 1000 times. First, let's go ahead and review the code in the stored procedure. Also, we'll actually run the stored procedure. We'll understand how much time it is going to take to process 1000 customer IDs to get the order details of 1000 customer IDs. Then we'll actually see how to take care of tuning the performance by addressing the identified bottlenecks. If you review the stored procedure here, we have the same query what we are seeing here as part of this statement. Here we are creating something called as cursor. Cursor is the concept of stored procedures. In this case, apart from this one, everything else is same what you are seeing here. Instead of hard-coded 5, we have variable a underscore customer underscore ID. This can be passed later at runtime. Don't worry too much if you do not understand the code here. Just keep in mind that we are trying to execute this query 1000 times by replacing customer ID at runtime. Now, as part of the loop in the stored procedure, we are actually passing 1 to 1000 to run this query. So the query will be run 1000 times with the customer IDs 1 to 1000. You should be able to create this stored procedure. We just need to select this and click on this to create. Keep in mind that the stored procedure is not invoked. It is just created. Now it is our responsibility to invoke the stored procedure as well. To invoke, we just have to run this piece of code. It will take care of invoking the stored procedure for us. However, it is failing. It is failing here. I need to make sure it is replaced with v underscore customer underscore ID. Let me replace this with v underscore customer underscore ID. Now let's try running this. Now the stored procedure is successfully created. Now let's try invoking the stored procedure. You can see that it is taking 18 seconds to process 1000 customer IDs. If I increase this number, let's say 2000 rather than 1000, then it will take close to 36 seconds. Let me select this. Let me click on this to create a stored procedure. Now let me run this once again. This time you can see that it have taken 35 seconds to 51 milliseconds. So depending upon number of customers for which you want to get the details, it will take that much time. It will linearly increase the execution time. Even if you run these in parallel, the operation is quite expensive. Your application will not be able to scale up. If you have the tables in the current format for platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, etc., the applications will not be scalable. The users will experience slowness whenever they want to see the details about their orders. That's where it is important for us to review the details from the perspective of identifying performance bottlenecks. One of the ways is to review the explain plans, see what can be done to address the performance bottlenecks and take required actions to address the performance bottlenecks. We'll actually go to the details about creating required indexes and then we'll rerun the stored procedure once again to see whether the execution will be much faster than what we have seen here.